Um, as usual, type in your full name into chat. That way I can take the attendance. Okay. All right, so let's continue. Last time, actually, we introduced some very basic programming concepts for writing Python programs. Okay, and we saw several examples for different exercises. And so the very last exercise we saw last time is this for you to write a program that performs a rotation cipher. Okay. So that means you can create a password, for example, based on the string that the user type in, okay, according to certain rule. Um, so in this exercise, actually, you're supposed to use this ORD function and also the CHR function. ORD function, in fact, is used to convert a letter or a string into a number, okay, into the ASCII number. And CHR function is used to convert a ASCII number into a specific character. Okay, so that's those are the two functions that you can use to convert between a character to its ASCII number, or from ASCII number convert back to the character. Okay, so that's those are the usages of these two functions. Okay. The next concept I want to introduce for Python programming is the file processing. So actually, this is very similar to C++. In C++, remember, we also have file processing, right? You use open file, something like that, to open a file. And whenever you want to read something, you read from file. You can also you can write to file by using. But in C++, you use the pipes, the input output symbol. Remember the less than, greater than symbols to do those stream out and in operation. Okay. But for Python, actually, it's a little bit different, but the concept is the same. Okay. So, for example, if you want to open a file, you can use this open function. Okay. So this is the open function. So this open function can help you to open a file. So you just need to provide the file name as a text, as a text, and then if you want to open the file as a just for read, then you have to use this. Okay, so for this one, actually, you open this file, the bankaccount.txt file. This is a file. This file must be in the same directory in your Python file. Okay, so otherwise, it will not find it. Okay. All right, so this is a example. You see reading a file line by line. So you see for line in open this file dot read lines. So this function actually makes sure that you read the line, you read the file line by line, okay? And then you do something. So for example, for this one, you count in the bank account, you want to count how many accounts you have, okay? So, so once you read in one line, the count will be incremented by 1. So eventually, after you reading all the lines of the bank account data, you know how many accounts you have in the bank account file, right? And then you can output this. Okay. So let's look at one exercise. In this exercise, you're supposed to write a program to process a file of DNA text. So I have a let me see the okay. So let me do this. Okay. All right. So I do have a DNA file like this. So in this file, you see it's a text file. In this file, we have this DNA symbols. Okay, so we have ATGC, AATTGC, something like that. Okay, so what I do in the exercise, I will count the percentage of C and G present in the DNA. Okay, so you want to count the number of C and G together, divide by the total number of the characters. That will give us the percentage value for C plus G. Okay. All right. So the program actually is like this. Let's use this one. So this is the program. For this program, first of all, it will ask the user to type in the DNA text file name. Okay. So once we type in the DNA file name, the input function will receive the file name message and assign to DNA file name variable. Okay. And then you can open the file because we know this is the file name for read. Okay. And then you have to, I just want to make sure that they are all capital letters. So that's why I convert everything to uppercase letters. Okay. And then this means totally how many characters that will be used for the denominator, right? So, and then I will count how many C and G in the text line. Okay. And once I have the total number of C and G, I just use that number divided by the total number of characters times 100. That will be the percentage, total percentage. Okay. So we can run this, run module. You see, so the DNA file is this. So you can see the percentage of C plus G present in the DNA is 38. Actually, it's about 39%, right? So this is the example that you can use to open a file and read the information from the file. See that? So that's something that you can use to do this kind of operations. That means you can use file open function to open a file, and also the read function to read information from the file. And there are several kinds of functions for file operation. You can do read lines, you can do read, you can do write. There are a lot of this kind of functions. You can read the help file or the manual for Python to learn what kind of functions the file operation package support. Okay. All right. So so after we introduce those basic concepts of Python, let's look at something a little bit advanced. It's graphics. So how can we draw figures? How can we draw pictures by using Python? Okay. In fact, if you go to the course website. On eCourses. So you see there is a Python program. It's called drawingpanel.py. Okay, so for the graphics part, you have to download this to your working directory. Okay, so you see in my directory, I already have this drawing panel Python. Okay, so if I open this drawing panel Python, you can see it uses this tkinter. tkinter actually is used to provide those graphics functions. Okay, so that's so you want to download this drawingpanel.py and save this drawingpanel.py into your working directory. When I say working directory, that means it should be in the same directory of your Python program. Okay, so so once you download that Python program into your working directory, then you can start drawing graphics. Follow the method provided here. Okay. All right. Okay. So the drawing panel program is provided. So please go ahead, download the Python program from our eCourses website. So this drawing panel actually is help you to draw a window, to create a window. Okay, so then you can draw pictures on the window. So how to use this drawing panel.py? Use from import, so it's the same. You can consider this drawing panel.py as a package. Okay, so you import every function from this package. Okay, and then you do this to create a panel. Panel is the drawing window. Okay, and then you can start to create certain shapes, like you can create a rectangle, you create a oval, you create a line. Okay. Okay. So let's see. So this is no, this is not. Okay, let me open the drawing panel to let you. Okay, so for drawing panel, you can see it's just for you to draw a window. Okay, so then you can draw your functions or your shapes on the window. Okay. Okay. Okay, so the function for the graphical commands. Okay. If you want to create a line, you can use this create line function. So that means the default values means a line between this point and this point. Okay, so x1, y1, that's the coordinate for point 1, and x2, y2 is the coordinate for point 2. Okay, and if you want to create an oval or a circle, okay, so you can see the largest oval that fits in a box with top left corner at x1, y1, and bottom left. This should be top left. Okay, top left and bottom right, I believe. Okay. Okay. This rectangle. So x1, y1, the rectangle with top left corner at and bottom right. I believe top left and bottom right. Okay. So these are some typos. And you can also create text. Okay, so so you can see this actually give us you know, if you call this, it will create a rectangle. Okay. So this top let me see, top left, bottom right. Yeah. So this is the top left. Top left means 10. So it's count from top. Okay, 10 and 40. This 10 means count from left to right. Okay, so that's 10. And 40 means count from top to the bottom. That's 40. Okay, and but here it's 22 and 65. Okay, so that's something that and then the fill-in color is red, and the outline color for the rectangle is blue. Okay, so the coordinate system for is y inverted. So it's the x is from here is the horizontal, and y is the vertical. Okay, so you have 0, 0 on the top left, and 200, 100. That's the bottom right. Okay. So you can use loops to draw several multiple shapes. Okay. So for example, in this case, you draw a sequence of ovals or circles. Okay. And so for this one, actually, you know, there is a exercise for you to practice. That means you want to draw a figure like this. Okay. I can show you the program, and you know, based on my program, you can make your own program. So let me see. So you can see in my program, first of all, I create a window by using this draw panel. Okay, the window size is 500, 400. Okay, so that means 500 is the width, and 400 is the height. Okay, so you know, G is the window, and then because I want to draw 10 blocks, and each block they have their specific size. You see that the first block has a smaller size, the second block you know, has a double size compared to the first one, and the third one, you know, is 3 times the size of the first one, and four times, you know, all the way to 10 times. Okay, and the starting point actually is totally different, and you want to make sure that all the blocks touch together, make a staircase shape. Okay, so so that's why I have this program. Okay, so you see, in fact, the you know, the start point of the top left is keep changing, because you know, for each individual block, the top left is different. So you have to make sure that you use a certain rule that you can do the calculation for the top left coordinate, and then for the bottom right, actually, you see, for the bottom right point for each block, they have the same x value, right? That's why you see there is a straight line, same x value, but for the y value is different. Okay, and I want to, I mean, in this case, actually, you don't have any color fill the block, but I want to make some, you know, verification, some change. So I put a yellow for the fill in color. Okay, let's see if I run this program. You see, I have a window like this. Okay, so in this case, I have 10 blocks, and each block, the fill-in color is yellow. So this way, you know, you can draw something. For example, you can use this actually to make to make a very simple game. You can draw, a panel for maybe like a tic-tac-toe game, and then you can make your own game by using this, right? Okay, so this is I mean, you can practice this if you want to make a simple game. In fact, when I was in grad school, I made game like so I made some very small game to try to learn how to program. Okay. So this is a very, I mean, writing games is a very good way for you to practice the programming skills. Okay. All right. Okay, so all those basic concept about writing programs in Python has been introduced. Okay. So let's see. We do have some advanced concept for writing programs with Python. Because we know Python actually is a object-oriented programming language. Okay, so we want to also look at this advanced concept, advanced topics for Python. Okay. So the objectives for learning this concept is for you to learn how to create classes, to define objects, okay, and how to write methods and create attributes for objects, and how to create an instance objects from a class. Okay. So those kind of things. Okay. First of all, you have to understand Python is object-oriented, but it's very similar to C++. Okay? So you can, if you want to use objects, you can use. It's not required. If you don't want to use object class, it's fine. It's different from Java. Java you have to use, right? So that's, but it support object-oriented programming. It's very similar to C++. So for object-oriented programming, you have there are several concepts you have to understand. For object, a single software unit that combines attributes and methods, okay? And that's for an object. So inside of an object, you have methods, you have attributes. Attribute, that means characteristic of an object, like a variable associated with kind of object. For example, for a human being object, attribute means age or sex, whether it's a female, male. That would be attribute for our human being, right? And then there are some methods. Method means behavior of an object, like a function associated with a kind of object. For example, for a human being, you can walk, right? You can jump. So those are functions. So you can see those are the attributes and methods associated with object. Okay, and class, in fact, class defines it's a collection of variables and functions working with these variables. Actually, class is a we can say class is a kind of definition for a kind of thing. For example, human being is a definition. Okay, so it's a general definition, but each individual person is an object. You see that? So from human being, the general definition for this kind of thing. And for each individual person, that's a human being object. It's a real instance. Okay, so that's the difference between class and object. Okay, so class is a abstract definition, An object is a real instance. Okay? So these are the fundamental concepts for object-oriented programming. So it's for information hiding, abstraction, so all those things. It's same as in C++. So you all learn C++ before, so you understand this. Okay. And this is the way that we can do to create classes for objects. Okay. So you use class to define a class, and this is the class name, and this is what kind of class you inherit from. You can leave this blank, or you can use a already defined object. Okay? And then the first function, this is function. Okay, so the first function actually is the creator. It's very similar to the constructor for C++ class. So whenever you try to create an object, the class actually will use this to initialize all the attribute values. Okay? And then you define your function for your class. Okay? So in this case, then if you want to create an instance of the class, you can do this. Okay, so you use the class with the name and color here. Okay, and so first of all, you have to have this self. So this self actually is a must-have parameter, and then you have some other parameters. If you want, you can add. Okay, and then once you have the object, you can call the methods defined in the object. For example, the bark method. Okay, so you can do that. Okay, so this is an example that how you can define a class and how you can create instances by using the definition of class. This is another class. Okay, so it's the same thing that you create the class, but here you don't have the initialization because this class actually is inherited from object. So it will, whenever you create an instance from this class, it will use the initialization method of this object. Okay? So this is the way that you can define a class and define a method. Okay? And class method, self parameter, you see in class method, you have to use the self parameter, the self keyword as the parameter, as the first parameter. Okay? And then if you have more parameters, you can put your parameter after the self parameter. All right. Let's look at, this is how you can create an instance for a class. So if you already have a class defined, then you can do this way to create an instance for a specific class. Okay? You can create multiple objects for one single class. It's very similar to human being is a class, but each individual student in our class is an instance of a human being, right? So you have one single definition for human being, but you have many individual instances of human being, right? So it's the same for the object-oriented programming concept. Okay, let's look at one example here. I have this. So you can see in this example, I do have the class here. Okay, so in the class, I have 3 methods. This is the constructor. Okay, and this is a user defined method, and this is also a system. I mean a standard method. Okay, so this standard method actually can return a string to represent the class. Okay, so that means you can use this print. So if you print the class, the object. So this is an object instance, right? Created from this creator class. Okay, and then you call the talk method defined in the class, and also you can print the class. I mean the object. I mean, so when you print the object, actually it will call this string function to create a string and then print out. Okay, so if I run this, you will see the first line actually that's the result by this call function, talk. I mean the talk function. So if you see talk function, it will print out hi, I am the name, and then when you print this, it will call this string function to output 2 lines. Okay, so you can see that's why you have 2 lines here. Okay, so so this is an example for a class. So first of all, you have to understand how can we use constructors. So constructor is a special method. Remember, is the init init. Oh, right. Yeah, this one. But don't forget, you have 2 underscores in front of init and 2 underscores after the init. Okay, so 2 underscores and 2 underscores here. Okay. Usually, the constructor actually write 1 in each class, and usually set up the initial attribute values of new object in constructor. Okay, so usually we use the constructor to initialize the values, the attribute values for the object. Okay, so this is an example, and like other method, you have to have a self as the first parameter. Okay, so this is a special method name, and it automatically called by new object. So whenever you want to create a new object, this function, this method will be automatically called. Okay, so it's the constructor. If you, I believe everyone here already learned C++ class, right? In C++, whenever you try to create an instance for a class, in fact, the constructor will be automatically called. So same thing for Python. And in this example, actually, you see, instead of only self, actually we add 1 more parameter. So we use this 1 more parameter to initialize the attribute of the object. Okay, so in the class there is an attribute name, so you can initialize that value of the. So like if you call this, the object you created, the instance you created is create 1. Inside of this object, the name is Pochi. Okay, so that's that's something that we can do to initialize the attributes in a class, in a class. Okay. So how can we access the attributes? In fact, you use methods to access the attributes. Okay, so you see, in fact, you can just refer to the name to access the value. Okay, so in this case, you print out the name of the attribute, the attribute value of name. Okay. This is the other special method I already showed you. Okay, so this special method, you see, you have double score in front str and double score after str. Okay, so this will be a special method. This special method returns a string message. Okay, so that means whenever you want to print this print a specific instance, you can just call this print the object name. So this way it will execute this method to create the string message and then print out. Okay, so this is the way that you can do to print an object. So this example shows you two more special methods, the set item and the get item. Okay, so you can see all special method actually has two double scores in front of the method name and two double scores after the method name. Okay, same as string, the initial, the constructor, set item. So from the name, you know what it is for, right? The set item means you set the attribute values, okay? And get item, that means you get something, right? So in fact, for this kind of special method, when you try to call this kind of special method, you don't really do the same thing as we call the user-defined method. So for user-defined method, you have to specifically type the method name to call that method. Okay, but for special method, you don't need to use the method name to call it. For example, this string, you don't need to call string. You actually just print it. Okay, print the object. Then this operation will go ahead run this method. Okay, and for this set item, get item, also you don't need to specifically call these two methods. So to trigger these two methods, you just need to to assign a value to it. Okay, so this way dog Max has a color of brown and dog Ruby has a color of yellow. Okay, so then you can just use this to get the item. So this way is to get the item, and this way is to set the item. Okay, so that's something that you can utilize. Okay. Okay, so here we have an exercise that you can write a student class with two attributes, name and age, and two methods, one to set the student's age and the other to get the student's age. Okay, so let's see. So you can see actually this is the program for this exercise. Okay, so in this exercise, you have a class of students. So in this class of students, you have a constructor, right? The init function is a constructor. So the constructor actually let you initialize the name of the student, the full name of a student, and also the age of a student. Okay, and then you have this get age. Okay, so the get age is to return the age attribute, and then you have a set age method. This set age method receives a value, a number, okay, as a parameter, and then the value will be assigned to the age. Okay, so to use this class, this first line is to create an instance of the class, create an object, right? So stu1, that's the name for the instance object. So the student name is Kevin, and the age is 12. Okay, so and then you can use the get age. Okay, so this get age will get the value from the current age, which is 12, and the 12 will be assigned to A, and then you can print out the age. Okay, and also you can set age. Okay, so you can set age and 13, 15, for example, and then you print. I mean, no, you get the value by using get age, and then you print B. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so first you get the value of 12, and then you use the set age to change the age to 15, and then when you get the age value, it becomes 15. Okay, so this is the class example that for this exercise. Okay, and we can also have a static method, same as in C++. So static method means you will have a single attribute that is associated with a class, not an instance. You see that? Okay. So so that means whenever you create a new instance, it doesn't change the static value. Okay? So the static value, actually, there is only one static value. It's associated with class, not the instance. Okay? So it's the same as static values in C++. Okay? So in Python, for example, we can use a static method to count how many instances you created for a class. Okay, so for example, you have a student class. Excuse me. Okay. So assignment. So for example, if you want to count how many students we have, based on the, so that in that case, you can set a static value, static count value in the student class. And so whenever you create a new instance, you use the count value to increment by 1. So that way you can count how many student instance was created. Okay, so that's something that you may use to with a static method. Okay, so for static method, there are two kind of methods. For Python 2, you have to do this. Okay, for Python 2, you have to do this. For Python 2, you don't have this line. Okay, Python 2, this is only for Python 3. For Python 2, you have this. This is for Python 2, and this is for Python 3. Okay, so if you are using Python 2, you don't have this line, but you have this line. If you are using Python 3, then you don't have this line. Okay, you have to delete this line. You use this. Okay, so that's something. And also, you see, Static method, you don't have self here. No self for static method. Okay, it's different from here. You see, for normal method, you have to have a self as the first parameter. Okay? So, so in this case, actually, you have a value total, and you have a status. So that means you can this attribute actually is associated with this because it's it's used for a static method. So it's associated with class, not the object. Okay, so that means each time when you create a new method, a new instance, actually this value doesn't change. Okay, it will be only assigned one time. That's when you define the class. Okay. So same thing for Python 3, you use this, and for Python 2, you use this. Okay. And if you do have a static method, okay, so this is the way you invoke a static method. So you create a first instance, you create a second instance, you create a third instance, and if you call this status, it will output 3. Okay, because each time when you create a new instance, the total value will be incremented by 1. Okay, it's here. You see. So this total equal to 0 will be only initialized one time. All right. And you can also set default values for method parameters, like here. So you can set this means you have a default value for name, and default value for age. Okay. So when you try to create an instance, if you just want to use the default value, then you just call person with empty bracket. Okay. So in this case, actually, this object, the name is Tom and the age is 20. Okay. However, if you want to use other values, you can do this. You use a new value for name. So you have to specifically tell the class which value it is for. Okay, so you have to use name equal to this and age equal to this to change the value. Okay, so this is a method has default values, and how you can use a different value for to change the default values. All right, so in this part, actually, we learned we not learned actually we try to see that how can we use object-oriented programming concept in Python, and we know that the OOP is very similar to that in C++. Okay, and we know that an object is a single software unit that combines attributes and methods. And attribute is a characteristic of an object. Okay, so that's some values. Okay, and a method is a behavior of an object. Okay? It's a function. It's a method. So a class defines the attributes and methods of a kind of object. Okay? So we saw. I use a human being as the example to for the definition of a class. Okay. And also definitely we learned a lot of basic concept of Python programming. Okay. So these two classes, actually, I just give you a very brief introduction about Python programming, because we will use Python programming for our all of our projects. Okay, so actually we already finished the first project. In that project, we used Python programming to write programs to finish the push button stop motion camera project. Okay, so just want to give you some very basic introduction about Python programming. If you only learn this will only give you a very basic knowledge about Python programming. Actually, Python programming is very powerful. There are lots of concepts, information, knowledge. So you don't want to just stop here. The good thing for Python is there are a lot of people are using Python nowadays. Okay, so if whenever you have some kind of concerns, problems, errors, you can always go to Google to search for solution. And 99% you can find a solution. Okay, so that's the good thing for using Python, because there are so many Python programmers online. They are very glad to help people. So if you do have some kind of problems, errors, concerns, you can always go to internet to find solutions, to find help. Okay, so that's the good thing for using Python. And nowadays, actually, a lot of people, they are using Python because, in fact, if you go back 5 years or 10 years, you will find that a lot of researchers, especially in signal processing or image processing, they're using C or MATLAB. Okay, C actually is pretty good. However, C is it's kind of hard to use. Okay, but it's still a very good, very success programming language. Okay, MATLAB is also very good. It is designed for signal processing, designed for engineering, designed for mathematics. Okay, but you have to pay, right? So that's something that a lot of researchers doesn't like. So that's why nowadays, actually, a lot of image processing, digital signal processing, AI person, they are using Python. Okay? So Python is a really powerful programming language. Okay. So today I just, this week I just gave you a very basic introduction about Python programming language and how to program by using Python language. Okay. Do you have any questions?
I have a question, but it's related to the project.
Yeah, I know. You may stay online after other students leave, and then I can help you I will try to help you because it's the online nature. It makes me really hard to help students to work on hardware projects. Okay, but I will try. Okay, so for
I got a question too, but it's also about the project, so I guess I'm gonna stay back too.
Yeah, you just stay here, so we can discuss. Okay. So if make sure you type in your full name in chat, and if you don't have any questions, so that's it for today, and I will see you on next Tuesday. Okay. If you do have questions with the project, you can stay here so we can discuss. Okay. All right. Okay. So who wants to go first for the project?
I can go first.
Okay.
Okay, so I have done everything.
Uh-huh.
For the most part, I've done the picture part, the motion picture. I've done all of that. I just don't know how to turn it in or what we're supposed to do to turn it in. So
You
the
write a
project in
report.
itself is
You write a
oh,
report.
so I'm supposed to write a detailed report about how I achieved the project.
Let me show you.
Okay.
A PDF on the same week as the project that says report, and it'll tell you like how the report for all the projects should go.
Yeah. So you go to the class webpage on eCourses, and you go to modules. Click on modules. Go to week 4. There is a report format. Okay. So you
Oh,
click
okay.
on report format, and it shows you what you're supposed to include in the report. You see, title page, objective, background, procedure, teamwork. If you do have teamwork, if you don't, then you can skip this. Results, conclusion, references, so everything. You see.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So every project you finish, you write a report and turn in the report. And because the first project actually is for you to create a stop motion video. I also like you to turn in your video, together with your report, so that way I know you did made a video. Okay.
How are we gonna do that?
You turn in also, I believe.
You can upload multiple files when you submit.
Yeah.
I do what?
You can submit multiple files at once. So you can submit the report and then you can submit the actual video with it.
Okay, because I thought the way we turned in, because the video is already saved in like the memory card, right? So I thought that was it.
You save the video on what?
Emailed it to myself to get my video off of it. I just connect to the Wi-Fi and emailed it to myself.
Oh, okay, got you.
Yeah, you can attach the video to your email and then email to yourself, and then you can download the video to your Windows computer. You have your laptop, desktop. You can download to your your computer.
Yeah, I'll do that. All right, thank you.
Okay. So anyone else? Yeah. So you go ahead, Philip.
Oh, okay. So I tried the code you had sent me, and I reconnected and disconnected all the wires and plugged them back in, and it still isn't like taking the pictures for the stop motion. But I can get it to take a picture if I just set it on the timer, but it won't work if I try to use the button. Like the camera just sits there. It doesn't take the pictures or anything. It just has the camera on.
I don't know. I have to see it to understand what happened. But I send you the picture, so if you just make sure your connection is correct.
Yeah, I did that, and it still didn't work. So I didn't know what else to do. Like I've tried switching.
Did you check the folder? There are no pictures taken.
What do you mean?
When let me show you the program. Okay. Okay, so in the program, actually, you see, whenever you press your button, there will be an image saved in the animation directory. Did you check that directory? Are there any pictures inside? Each time when you depress the button, actually there will be a image, a frame saved into that directory. So if you go to that directory, you can, you want to check that directory to see whether you have images. If you don't have images, that means that definitely you didn't take any pictures. But if you do see there are a sequence of images or a bunch, a list of images, that means you did take your pictures.
So it's not showing up that animation is in the directory at all.
So animation, you don't have a directory of animation?
No. Like I have the animation.py, but if I try to pull up it in the directory, nothing comes up for it.
Can you create a directory named animation inside of Pi? Or I mean, not Pi, inside of, where is your program, your Python program? It's in, did you make a, I don't know. So for example, okay, I put this program, this is my program, okay? So I put this program into a directory name as, for example, temp, okay? So when I run this program, each time when I depress the button, there will be, there should be a animation directory in the same directory of your Python program. For example, if I put my Python program, this Python program into the temp directory, then in the temp directory, I'm supposed to have another directory. It's called animation. Okay, so whenever you depress the button, this picture, the JPEG picture, will be saved into the animation directory. So first of all, you have to create an animation directory in the same directory where you save your program. You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you can create a animation, a directory called animation, then you try the program again, see whether you can save the images to that animation directory.
Okay, I'll try that.
And other than that, I don't know. I mean, because everything is the button, the cable, the breadboard, they are all brand new components. Okay, no one used them before. I purchased that before I gave it to you. Okay, so I don't believe they are malfunction. They are all. I checked everything. I test everything before I gave you. Gave the things to you. Okay, so they supposed to all work perfectly. I don't think they have problem by themselves. Okay, so
what was the question?
Go ahead.
What was his question?
His question, he cannot make it work. He cannot take pictures by depressing button.
When I had, I don't know, the only time I had that issue, it was because I didn't have the line that said button equals button 17. And that had gave me that issue.
Okay. Yeah, but I mean, I gave him the correct program, and he said it still doesn't work. That's the problem for this online setting. For online setting is
also whenever I had an issue, I was Googling a lot, and because it's on the actual Raspberry Pi website, they have forums where have questions they'll answer. So
that's a very good practice for learning things. In fact.
Okay, I'll try that.
Yeah, I mean, if it still doesn't work, then we may set up a time. Then you can show me. You can. I don't know. Maybe you can show me your Raspberry Pi system in front of the camera. Then I can take a look. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you for that.
Okay. Yeah.